But then also we've seen allegations by Hendrik's refusal to address or respect the provincial leaders because he says they were not democratically elected, and obviously he claims somewhere that they are friends electing friends and obviously getting one another in places. So yeah, there's no mutual respect. But what I do know and what is publicly available is this: there are no syndicates or competing boards that are challenging any of the provincial boards. I don't know. I don't know of anyone challenging the Western Cape board. I don't know of anyone challenging the KZN board. I think they're democratically elected. We've seen that. I don't know anyone challenging Gauteng. Any other province, you name it. Eastern Cape said that they haven't had elections yet, but they've had sittings from the regions appointing an acting, or what do you call this, an interim board. So they have an interim board that is busy running things. Mpumalanga, yes, no one is arguing that there's anything here. So there's no board in Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga is the one province that you can claim does not exist on paper. But still, again, trying to get their house in order. Not with the help of Chess South Africa, because obviously they were not willing to help. So yeah, that's what I know. So yeah, the legitimacy of the Chess South African board is being challenged by the provinces. So about 7 of them, all in good standing, are challenging that legitimacy. SASCOC is also challenging this legitimacy. And FIDE is challenging the legitimacy. But who's challenging the legitimacy of the other provincial board, the provinces? I don't know of anyone. Do you know of anyone challenging the legitimacy of any provincial executive, any provincial board? We don't know. So for now, we know that there are no minutes of any meeting or any documentary proof available to the public showing that there have been any elections for Chess South Africa since 2018. How many years? 5. Yes, so obviously that is 5 years in terms of the Chess South African Constitution. There should be a proper election every second year. So now 5 years, boom, gone, boom, gone. Now we're here, right? And it's a funny thing. It's interesting that the Chess South African Constitution, the Chess South African Constitution says that there must be an elections every odd numbered year, right? There's elections of presidents of the CHESA should happen every odd numbered year. There's election of the president, but they're not just electing the president, they're electing the whole board, right? That's according to clause 19.6.6, as according to my script. So yeah, 2023 is therefore an election year. And on the other hand, most of the provinces have or are in the process of having new elections. So that means it's a good time for what? For elections to happen. So we should be having elections, right? I believe that the only way to solve this issue, you do too, as how we have elections. That's what we want. That's what Hendrik wants. He says at some point in the video. That's what the provinces want. That there must be elections. We have elections. And they've got a reverse delegate who was obviously appointed by FIDE to facilitate that. So that we can have elections. Why not have elections and get this thing sorted? Because, I mean, if you have elections, then the whole matter will be resolved. Let's have elections. But yeah, that's a funny thing. So yeah, what we found very alarming was that toit said later in the interview that he also wants to have he wants us to have elections. But obviously, if you go back to the video and you listen at 54 minutes and 14 seconds up to 55 minutes and 4 seconds, and then what he says at 56 and 55, 56 minutes and 55 seconds. You see now these notes that we have. It says if you want to hear the full context, you can go back to 47 minutes and 22 seconds. But the question was put to him. toit said that all they want is a democratic election in accordance with the Chess SA Constitution as soon as possible. He goes on to say now that SASCOC has suspended Chess SA. They are doing exactly what Chess SA asked them to do. Okay, that doesn't even make sense. So, however, at minute 56, 55, he says that they intend to stop this process from happening. Yeah. So this obviously, it leaves you confused. It leaves me confused. So the confusion here is whether he wants the elections to happen or not. Or as the provinces say, he wants elections on his own terms, where only the people who are willing to vote for him come to vote. So yes, he wants elections, but he also wants to dictate who comes. You know, again, there was this idea. Okay, on to the issues of the fortnights: personal interest and money. There's a whole lot. I've spoken. We've spoken about fortnights. We've spoken about leaders not attending meetings. We've spoken about personal interests. And we've spoken of this money issue as the most sensitive one. Let's get to it. Now I'm going to go it according to the script, so that you also get the clear picture. Toit was asked at 6 minutes and 2 seconds in the video why he believed that this syndicate would want to take over chess. He responded that the perception is that there is a lot of money in chess that is to be made with obviously Chess South Africa. He tells us that there is no money for administrators because it is a voluntary position, but because a lot of money flows through the sport, there is a lot of opportunity for corruption. He told us that it is not profitable for him to do this because he is a highly qualified IT specialist. And the time he spends on chess is actually a loss for him. So he loses money with every hour, every minute that he spends in chess. And yet he continues. Good Samaritan, sacrificing so much for us. So yeah, later in the interview, that is at 1 minute. Like if you just, we want to refer you to that video. We go to 31 minutes, 47 seconds. He is asked about the 4 nights agreement. Toit tells us that the problem that Chess South Africa was facing after the 2014 World Youth that was held in Durban, I believe, that they owed a lot of money. So he tells us that at that point in time, he and Steenkamp were part of the structure, or part of the structures, and were on the board of Tshwane Chess, and that they had a non-profit, which is they still have, called Tshwane Chess NPC. Notice this, because I'm going to, you notice this. So they were part of the executive of Tshwane Chess, and they later created a non-profit called Tshwane Chess NPC. So they had money in Tshwane Chess NPC. And Steenkamp told Toit they should loan the money to Chess South Africa to obviously pay off its loan. To feed it. The loan that the monies that they owed to feed it. Chess South Africa owed money to feed it. So Chess South Africa then signed an agreement with the 4 nights. Toit states that he was not part of the signing of the agreement or the company, but he was part of the raising of the money, and he got some investors in. That's an interesting thing. He says he has no vested interest from a monetary point of view. Neither he nor Steenkamp has ever shared in the profits. They only get a stipend. I guess that depends on how much the stipend is, right? Now, honestly, if you're a highly qualified IT person who feels like they're losing money from chess and doing things that are related to chess, but you would accept a stipend, even though you're not going to take profits, that means the stipend would really need to be a very good stipend to keep you. But anyway, so yeah, the provinces say this is not completely true. They say that the sports administration is what he does for a living. So he's been accused of doing sport administration for a living because he's not doing anything IT related. He claims that he's an IT specialist and obviously he works at IT and he makes a lot of money from it. So the allegations are, as was presented to him in the interview, that he is doing this completely for personal gain. The allegations are that even the non-profits and other companies are used for personal gain. So what else would you be doing it if not for yourself? I don't know. For your kids are no longer there. So yeah, again, for the sport, you're not a player in the sport. So you're not a parent in the sport, you're not a chess player. So you're just an administrator who's selflessly sacrificing their time, as valuable as it is. So yeah, so again, we had to marvel in the similarities here. So both sides suggest, if not allege, some corruption. So Toit said that tournament prize monies were paid out of the boot of a car, or money has been going through the wrong accounts in the provinces, and obviously the provincial presidents were making similar allegations about him. I remember speaking to the president of KZN Chess because he made that accusation about KZN, and he explained how it happened. If you didn't get it, go back to the interview with Lindo Guhle, the president of KZN, Mr. Lindo Guhle, and obviously he explains how it happened that money had to be paid via the boot. So you go to, I'm going to tell you now. All right, so it's a conversation with Lindo Guhle with Mr. Lindo Guhle Ngubane, president of KZN Chess. Go to that conversation with Lindo Guhle Ngubane, and you'll have that issue about money being paid out of the boot being addressed. It made sense to me. I don't know if it will make sense to you, but again, I'm not pulling you or pushing you to either side or away from the other from either side. So yeah, let us fact check for the things ourselves. Go fact checking. So some fact checking shows us the following. What does toit do for a living? Normally you find a LinkedIn account, you go to LinkedIn and you search for a person. So we went back to Facebook, who describes himself in Facebook as a director at Bright Urge Business Solutions. That's his Facebook account, right? However, it seems that this business has no social media page. Like any other company would have a social media page. If it's an IT company especially, you would find, it's strange again. I mean, you wouldn't expect that an IT company would not be available on Google. Yeah? An IT company would not have a website. What kind of IT business would not have a website? So yeah, didn't get any web page. Found it strange, obviously, for an IT business. But then again, if you go to B2B Hint, you found it. You'll get a link which I can put up for you, unless you can search for yourself, which is very interesting. So it took me a while. It took me back to a page that gave more information on the business. I saw that toit was the director